about Neil Asher Silverman, that's his name, the Hidden Scrolls. Yeah.
On the papers, are you going to supply the topics, or are we going to choose topics?
No, I don't supply any topics.
So
You think I got 50 topics? I said, if you want to do you come talk to me, sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm always in my office, whatever, 6:12, an hour before here. I haven't seen many people come up, but, I'm happy to, but you don't have to get my okay for a paper. I mean, a paper is what interests you. What interests you. That's the whole point. I mean, well, if I knew a paper to write, I'd write it myself and publish it. I don't have even 10 topics that I could suggest to you. But if someone says, hey, I like this and this is interesting, well, I'll go ahead and do it. Paper is something that is pretty individual. That's why I'm not over, the graduate students have to do it, but I'm not over, I'm not overexcited about papers because of the fact that I see that it's such an uneven production from the students on that. So that's a matter of choice. Anyway, we're talking about the Hidden Scrolls of Neil Asher Silverman, and someone brought up the fact there were some scenes in there of us drinking in the Albright Garden and so on and so forth with the future head of the Dead Sea Scroll editorial team, who ultimately was, the Israelis took him out of his position because of some odd comments he made to the press in terms of Jewish history and things like that. But anyway, I told you the story to some degree, but I think I forgot to mention, I think that in the Hidden Scrolls he mentions, so Eisenman was trying to sell me his wife or something like that. Did I mention that last time? And that was because when the author of the Hidden Scrolls went and asked him about this, Eisenman was trying to sell me his wife. I don't want to make too much of a comment on that because we could really say something very funny about that, but I wouldn't. But anyway, I did speak to my wife afterwards, and she did say that he kept trying to put his hand on her thigh. This is the head of the Scroll editorial team. So, I don't have a lot of respect for these people, frankly, and I don't have a lot of respect for the universities that hire them and keep them, honestly. And but I don't want to go any deeper into it than that because my friend has the camera on here. And I don't want to say anything more aggressive than that. But you can use your imagination on certain things that one might try to imagine in terms of certain environments. But you can read that book. It has the whole scene in there, and it also has a good description of the speech I gave at the New York Society. I forget what it's called. New York Academy of Arts and Letters or something, because he had a tape recorder of this guy, and he was amazed. He recorded the whole speech, and it wasn't a speech I prepared to give. It was a speech that I gave in terms of some of the things that some people were saying. That I had a good time down in San Diego yesterday. I went down there, and as always, I managed to open my mouth there. But some of the people on the official editing team were saying some really odd things. And I had to ask one of them, they asked, are there any questions? I sat for 3 hours of Qumran sessions. And, the Society of Biblical Literature is meeting down with the American Academy of Religion down in San Diego at the moment, and going to the museum and all this sort of thing. And then, so after hearing all this, papers that had already been rehearsed in their speaker series by some of the people who were members of the Qumran section of that organization, I asked the fellow who was giving a talk, because it was quite clear he was talking about the War Scroll and Messianism and so on and so forth. I said, you seem to have a real animus against this text. You sound like you don't like it. And he was amazed. He said, no, I don't. I said, well, this is not history here in this particular text, the War Scroll. This is poetry, or a poetic excitement. He didn't like the fact that they were looking forward to a war against all evil on the earth, and which the heavenly angels were going to participate. He didn't like the fact that they were going to defeat the, quote, Gentile nations. But obviously they saw the Gentile nations as part of the Roman Empire, and they were kind of being besieged by the Roman Empire. And so he took issue that they were going to defeat all of the so-called Gentiles. I said, you know, this is poetry. They're trying to whip up enthusiasm among their followers to participate in this struggle. You have to try to move people. I didn't tell him at the end, but I did tell one of the other colleagues there that, in fact, all these people were killed. All of them were killed. None of them survived. So to speak ill of them is really to speak ill of people who martyred themselves fighting against the Roman Empire. You say, how do you know they were all killed? Oh, we know they were all killed because they were all killed on or committed suicide on Masada, and all the people who resisted the Romans were killed. And as far as the scrolls go, everyone had to either have been killed or sold into slavery because someone would have come back and got these manuscripts. You say, what do you mean? Well, you wouldn't leave precious parchment in caves. If you could have come back, you could have just sold them for junk to the junk dealers for quite a